Good morning. Good morning to you all. I don't seem as close. There's more around here. Something might happen there, you never know. But we'll go with it. We'll go with it. How are you all doing? It's a great day today. What a great day. Bank holiday weekend. I haven't cleaned my glasses. Let's do that. Bank holiday weekend. Hope you've enjoyed it. Maybe an extra bit of relaxation or something of that nature. Some of you have probably been at work. I remember working bank holidays and the like. There you go. But here we are. And looking forward to a great day. Got my friend Tony coming over very soon to make some music, and that'll be really good. And one of the things we're doing, well, he's I'm showing him how to use Ableton Live, which is the software that I use to record, and that's really good, isn't it? It's going to be a good day. The reason it's going to be a good day, he's why it's going to be a good day because of that, obviously. But the whole premise of you've got to win the morning has been very prevalent today. So I've, the alarm's been going off at 6 o'clock. I've been on holiday for a few weeks. It's been the summer recess kind of thing for me. Very lucky to work in university land where like the summer is quite relaxed, even though sometimes I'm at work. And but I kind of keep a lot of my holidays, so that's really good. So the alarm goes off at 6 o'clock, and much as I'm a motivated kind of 6 o'clock kind of guy, and I'm usually kind of stirring or awake by then. It's kind of, well, all right, I'll just have a little bit longer. I'll just lie here a little longer or whatever. And I have some days, and that's cool. That's cool. It's peaks and troughs. And then downstairs, and it's like, I'll just have a coffee, read my book. And although I have been leaning into the exercise a bit more, that's what's been good about today. Up at 6, bang, dog walks, bang, over to the gym, cycle energy, spinning. To those of you who call it that. It's a brand name, I think, isn't it? Spinning. Yeah. Anyway, Cycle Energy is what it's called at the gym I do with Claire, who led us in the torture that was the 45-minute spin class, and then you come out of that feeling great, don't you? I had eggs on toast, read the news. What a day! And now I'm going to spend time with one of my bestest of friends, and we're going to make music. So there's that. The self-care in that is the connection with somebody who's important to you, the connection with an activity that you both enjoy, and a connection with the music, the spirituality of music. But there you are. So happening today. One of the things that I noted as I was considering what to talk about today was that only last week I was talking about consistency and the importance of consistency. How funny that I then was in the middle of this streak idea of doing a whole not missing a morning. And then I missed a few mornings because I was over in Ireland. I was at a wedding, as I probably mentioned. And then I missed yesterday because, well, it was Bank Holiday Monday. And, I thought, it's Bank Holiday Monday. I did very good things with the morning. I read a bit of the book that I'm reading a work of fiction at the moment, which is very unusual for me. So there were things going on. And it made me think, consistency is really hard. It's really hard to maintain a consistent approach, isn't it? And I thought, why is that? What's got in the way of the streak? Well, yesterday was just, there were other options. There were other things available. It's interesting what I find is the more I'm doing, the more easy I find it to motivate myself to do other things. So if I'm kind of like, right, I'm up, I'm walking the dog, I'm going to the gym, like when I'm at work, it'll be like, I need to start work by about kind of 8:30ish, whatever. Let's get the live in. And it seems easy. It's almost as though once you've got the engine running, once you've got some forward momentum, and the literature bears this out. Once you've got some forward momentum, you just keep going with stuff. You go, next thing, and eventually you tire, obviously. And as long as you move on to things when you tire that don't take so much physical and mental energy, then you'll keep going. So that's one of the skills of planning, isn't it? It's to kind of plan around those peaks and troughs of your kind of energy levels. And not to plan necessarily to do nothing during them, because not many of us have the luxury of being able to kind of think at 2 o'clock, I'm going to not do anything now for the rest of the day. We've all got to keep doing stuff, because most of us, broadly speaking, still still work 9 to 5 Monday to Friday, and broadly speaking, we're not allowed to just go home when we fancy. We can be flexible. There's lots of flexible working options out there now, which are great. So you can maybe at 2 o'clock, go for a walk or go to the gym, or take an hour out and then work a bit later. That's great. I love that. I do that sometimes myself. And it all works as long as the job gets done. But anyway, so that was the peaks and troughs thing. So once you get the momentum going, once you get the motivation going, and remember I said yesterday, or the day before, whatever it was, I was last here, that sometimes if you're not feeling the motivation, just do something. And actually, going back to the other day, I was talking, wasn't I, about doing my coursework, and I haven't achieved probably as much as in the back of my head I would like to have achieved, but I formatted my kind of template, if you like, for what needed to be done. And yesterday I had a good crack at it. And I wanted to try and get it done yesterday. And I probably I did have enough time to get it done, but I knocked off early. It was Bank Holiday Monday. Do you know what I mean? So I decided to knock off early and do some other things. But I got probably 2/3, maybe even 3/4. And certainly what I know is, if I stick another couple of hours in the diary, which I've already done, but still another couple of hours in the diary, I've stuck a morning in, I'll get that finished. And then I've got the other one to do, but that's fine because there's slippage built into the system. But anyway, consistency is hard. So maintaining this streak proved hard. It proved hard because yesterday I decided to do other things. I wanted to do something, I wanted a different sort of morning, so I didn't come on and do this. Last week it was a very real thing that just needed to be done. I was in Ireland. I was at my son's wedding, and I went over there with the intention of sitting in the garden. And actually it would have been lush because I had hills in the background, hills of Mourne, I think it was, in the background, mountains of Mourne. In fact, they weren't just hills, they were mountains. I had them in the background. It would have been lush to sit with my camera and do a live, but we were sat outside. My parents were there. My son was there, who was getting married the night before, and in the morning of the wedding there were things to do, and it was like, it would be inappropriate here. It'd be inappropriate to impose in this situation my desire to maintain this streak of lives or whatever. And the important thing there was being what we were there for. It's Stephen Covey, keep the main thing the main thing. The main thing was being there with family and doing the wedding and all that kind of stuff. That was the main thing. So so I could have done a quick live, it would have felt indulgent maybe. So anyway, however, normally in the general run of life, when it comes to being consistent, life gets in the way. That's one thing people comment all the time. I say that, people say that, students that I work with say that, life just gets in the way, doesn't it? I could have got that assignment done, but life just got in the way. Yeah, it did. That's part of why you plan slippage into the system. But I think one of the problems that we self-impose is that these days, in the modern world, beautiful as it is, wonderful as it is, we actually have too many options. There are too many things we could do. Too many things we could get up on a morning and do. You know what I mean? Some of us have got things that they have to do, getting the kids ready for school or whatever it happens to be, getting ready themselves for work. For lots of people like me, I'm very lucky. I'm later on in life, maybe my kids are older. I've got lots of options. I can walk the dog forever. I can go to the gym. I can just get up and drink coffee and look at the garden. I can do those kind of things before I have to start work. Too many options. And it gets even worse on an evening and on a weekend, doesn't it? With all of the options that are available to us, and we get sucked into trying to do as many of these things. And I make a strong argument, I feel, that in many ways, not maybe talking about work particularly, work's a whole other thing, but in many ways, but sometimes at work, it's not lack of time that's the problem. It's the attempt to do too many things. We try and do too much. We try and pack as much in as we can. And, how we live our weekends can be problematic. Sometimes you get to a Sunday night and you think, well, I need to go back to work for a rest. And then you go back to work for a rest and don't get much done on Monday because you're recovering from the weekend. The weekend is for recovery for next week, preparation for recovery for next week. So we have to be careful how we spend or budget our time. We don't live if you think about money, we don't live our lives as though we have an infinite supply of cash and resources. Well, some of us do, maybe. We don't live as though we've got this abundant richness of cash in the bank. It just keeps spending it, blah blah. Just keep spending it, just keep spending. We've got an ever filling fridge, so we just keep eating this and eating that and eating the other. No, we know that's not how it works. Most of us, to some extent or another, sit down and think, right, this is how much money I've got. This is what I need to cover the bills wise. This is what I've got left. This is how I'm going to conduct my financial affairs. And maybe we manage the peaks and troughs with a credit card and all those kind of things that we all, or most of us, do. So we don't act, when it comes to resources like that, as though we have an infinite supply. But I think sometimes we do that with time. Sometimes we think, oh yeah, I'll pack all of that in, or I've got loads of time. I've got time to do this. I've got time to do that. Actually, people don't think I've got loads of time, but it's kind of, I've got time to do this. I've got time to do that. Oh yeah, I can crowbar that and do this. I can do that. We live as though we have a lot of time. I think psychologically, but the reality is we don't. And when that realization suddenly dawns on us that we've spent Saturday doing this and Sunday doing that, and I'm now not ready for work tomorrow. I've now got no stuff in to take for lunch, or I've not got the washing done, or I've not got this done or that done. So it's, isn't life hard? Isn't life difficult? And I just think sometimes we need to accept that life, it isn't always about doing miraculous stuff and all the time. Sometimes life is very mundane and very ordinary, and in fact, I think the richness of life sometimes is in the ordinary, is in the mundane, is in the preparedness. I really believe that. I really believe that that's really important, that preparedness. And I think one of the things is we prioritize the hedonistic stuff, the stuff that's going to make us go, oh wow, and give us that Instagrammable moment. Well, what we should prioritize is getting the essentials done first, because then we get to the point where the essentials have to be done, and we find we're running out of time. And there's nothing more satisfying. It goes back to the very start of this with the you've got to win the morning thing. If you get all of those things out of the way first thing, like for example, I've had to set up an extension monitor so Tony can watch what I'm doing while he's over and we're doing the music and I'm showing Ableton. And I thought, well, I could do that after I've done this, but I haven't done that. I did that first because that has to be done today. It's lovely if I do this, but it doesn't have to be done. If this doesn't happen today, it doesn't matter too much. So I did that first because that did matter. Same yesterday, I had to print off my lyric sheet and my cribs about what I was going to do today musically. That got done first, so it was there. And I think sometimes we prioritize the hedonistic pleasure of life before we prioritize the practicalities of life. And in some ways, it grieves me to say that because it's, the hedonistic stuff's wonderful, it's doing what you want when you want, and all that kind of thing. And I mean, and it's great and it's good for us. Don't get me wrong, it's good for us. But the reality is that you're going to enjoy that hedonistic stuff much better if you've got the practical stuff out the way. So this is this whole thing about your weekend preparing for next week. If what you do on maybe not a Friday night, but on a Saturday morning is get all the stuff done that needs to be done over the weekend, get the car washed, get the garden tidy, get the shopping done, all those kind of things, then that leaves you the weekend not free with time, although you are now, although you've used probably maybe a third or even a half or even 2/3 of your Saturday up. But what it leaves you with is the psychological space of everything's ready for Monday. Everything's sorted for Monday. I don't have to worry about any of that. So whatever indulgent thing I'm now going to immerse myself in, I can immerse myself in it fully. And that's, to me, what mindful living is all about, immersing yourself in it fully. But if you're thinking, I must remember to do that washing that iron, I must remember, we need stuff for bait and that for tomorrow, all the kind of stuff, you're thinking all of those things while you're trying to have your night out or watch the movie or do whatever, then you've got a problem, because you're not going to be psychologically in that space, or you're going to feel somehow cheated of the complete pleasure of the enjoyment. So let's get the practical stuff out of the way first, to get to the enjoyable hedonistic stuff. And let's accept that there's only so many hours in the day. We can only do so many things. So let's be really rational and sensible about the amount of stuff that we try to pack in. We can't do everything, even though we're sold the fact that we can. We can't. We can only do so much. And trying to do too much means we end up focusing on nothing, because we just keep moving from thing to thing all the time. So be discerning with your allocation of time. Be discerning with what you allocate your time to. Allocate your time first to the things that you absolutely must do and need to do. And once you're ready for the next practical, pragmatic, necessary things, then whatever time you're left with, enjoy it with those hedonistic experiences. I await the arrival of Tony. He'll be here very soon. He usually brings donuts. This is a good thing. So we might well have coffee and a donut to start the day. So take care. See you soon. Maybe even tomorrow. Ta-da.